Hello everybody, welcome to the GDQ Hotfix. Before we crack into what is a little bit of a self-indulgence of the games that we've got today, I thought I'd congratulate each and every one of you who has contributed to AGDQ 2022. So just over a week ago, we were coming to the end of a record-breaking event, and we saw some big donations near the end to help us hit just over $3.4 million. But it doesn't stop there. Throughout the rest of January, any revenue that GDQ receives through your subs, gift subs, prime subs, and bits will go towards that total raise for Prevent Cancer. So if you still got a little extra you would like to give, then you're welcome to help us hit that big $3.5 million mark. Now for this hotfix. For those of you joining the show for the first time, I'm Hypnotics and have the pleasure of running Going Places, a speedrun travel show, if you will, where we go around the world looking at region-exclusive games, as well as showing off games that we would take on our journeys on a handheld device. I'm certainly making it no secret that I'm a Sonic fan. Heck, I'm even a series moderator for the Classic series on SRC, so I've been holding out on having this episode for a while, but it was going to happen. It was going to happen after a while. So we have a collection of wild classic Sonic games that either fit one of the Going Places criterias or both. Later on, we'll see some Game Gear titles with S2 and a Neo Geo Pocket Color Sonic game. Yes, such a thing does exist. To begin with, though, we are packing our bags for Japan to play a region-exclusive and arcade-exclusive title. We have got two incredible runners who have just recently broken a big minute barrier, which had stumped runners for well over a year. So with only 2 seconds between them, S2 and Spectral Platypus will duke it out in SegaSonic the Hedgehog. Hello, gamers.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
How are you, Mr. Nautix?
I am doing quite all right, thank you. I'm really looking forward to this because I'm not racing for once, and I have a very bad track record of racing this game. I don't really want to go into it, but this is between you two. How did you two get into this game?
Well, I honestly, I'm not sure I really remember, to be honest. I was the first runner of this game, so I knew about this game when I was a kid through like emulation at the time. It wasn't, as accessible, but I knew about the game. And so this has always been kind of a game I enjoyed, and I decided I was just going to speedrun it at some point, and I've been running it ever since.
Nice. And Spec, you're a little more recent. You've come into this just recently.
Yeah, just about a month and a half ago, in the Classic Sonic Discord server, there was a run with a real arcade machine, and when I saw the gameplay there, it really piqued my interest, and I've been running the game since.
Brilliant. And I believe as it stands, S2, you have got a 1059, or Spec has a 1057.
That is correct. I think the last race we did, you and me were 2 seconds apart, and now me and Spec are 2 seconds apart. So this seems to be a recurring theme.
This is going to be good. I am really looking forward to it. Let me know when you're ready, and either one of you can count each other in, but it might be a bit fairer if I count them in, and I would also like to count you down, because this will be good fun.
I'm ready whenever.
Yeah, I'm ready as well.
Okay, time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. And good luck, both of you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I have a little bit of experience with this game, so I am quite happy with doing commentary for this. So, as you can see, S2 has gone with a better character because we don't run Sonic games for playing with Sonic. We have got Ray versus Sonic, and Ray's our guy. If you're hearing any of the feeds, I imagine you might be hearing S2's. You'll be hearing some brilliant voice acting in this game. This is the first instance of voice acting in a Sonic game, and it really adds to it. With an arcade game, you've got to do some really quick storytelling, and I think this game does it really, really well.
So
Nice.
I might be a few seconds behind because I had a kind of bad first section there, but here I'm doing a glitch, actually, our first glitch in the game. It's just a visual glitch called boulder glitch, where if you run in a certain way, that boulder that just launched me up is invisible, and it doesn't really do that much time-wise, but it's just kind of a fun little swag strat.
Nice. That's something that I really can't do very well, and both of these two like to poke fun at me. So this is coming to the end of Volcanic Vault, it's a good sort of introductory level. You can see with their movements, they're sort of dithering sort of left and right a little bit, and that is just, I think, a consequence of emulation, because this game is incredibly hard to find a real cabinet for. I believe only, I don't know, in their tens in terms of how many boards made it outside of Japan. But I believe there are a couple in the US.
Yeah, there are certainly a few floating around. A lot of them are in private collectors' hands these days. So if you wanna find one like in an arcade that you could actually play on, it is a little bit of a challenge. But like Spec said, it's been done. There's even a speed run on the actual cabinet that somebody has done. So it's out there, but it is a tougher one to find. This game is certainly a bit more obscure in terms of Sonic games.
Hey, do you want to talk about the camera and taking turns, how camera likes to get stuck?
Sure, I would love to. One of the unique things about this, well, maybe not particularly unique, but there are a lot of sort of micro time saves that we have grown to find in this game, and quite a few of them is just being good with the camera and knowing what positions the camera will sort of snap and like stay in position, and which ones you can afford to sort of get in a particular position so that you can avoid it from snapping. Sometimes it's just awkward. Arcade games are like that, and they're trying to take as many pennies away from you as they can. But both of these two making it quite easy of ICR. I believe Spec might have taken a little bonk on those daggers at the start, so it's looking quite even at the moment.
Good to know.
Because I mean, it was only a small thing and it went by very, very quickly, but that's if you get a tiny bit stuck on that, that's, you say a second and a half lost on that?
It kills all your momentum just on that ramp, so it's pretty detrimental, I think, as far as time losses go in this game.
Alrighty, they are both now onto Desert Dodge, where there are a lot of hazards. You can see the little mounds that they're jumping over. Those store rings. If we were doing an all bonus run, then it would be worth doing, but these two are not. All bonus run is horrible. So they are trying to avoid all of this quicksand. They are trying not to get eaten by the antlions,
which I did.
Oh no, so they are continuing to jump over here. You can see this massive worm thing that's following them, and you think, is that not going to attack them at any point? Do they have to dodge left and right for that? Well, when they get to this long stretch of quicksand, you'll see that it doesn't really do anything at all. I don't know whether that's a bug or whether maybe if they'd slowed down, they'd be more likely to get hit, but it's just...
Yeah, so actually in the earlier part of the level, if you slow down, you can get hit by it, but in this quicksand section, for whatever reason, you can just walk right through it. I'm not really sure why that happens, but we know it happens. It just doesn't collide with you in that section of the level.
It used to freak me out when I first started, thinking that I have to dodge that or go out of my way, but...
You know, just Sonic things. So it's interesting, we're getting some people wondering, why SegaSonic? I believe that was something to do with how Japan had their they registered or how they trademarked Sonic at the time. So I believe a lot of their classic entities that were just for Japan were named SegaSonic. Interestingly, we have a SegaSonic specialist. Spectral has run SegaSonic Bros, which might sound like it could be similar to this game. It could be any sort of further away from what this game is.
Yeah, so I think the story is there was already a series from another company that was called Sonic Blastman, if I remember correctly, and they didn't want to be in a murky territory as far as the copyrights go. So they ended up going with the name SegaSonic, and there's about a number of arcade titles with that SegaSonic prefix.
You can see both of these runners are coming up to a long ladder section with a whole load of bombs. They're doing a brilliant job at dodging. Oh wait, no they're not. They're just going straight up the third ladder because it is, nice and easy. Why bother shimmying around when you're losing time? You can just do that.
Yeah, that is a theme of this game, is sometimes the isometric view makes it so that things happen in weird ways, like those bombs where we can get just high up enough that we can just walk right over them before they blow up. And so that's kind of a fun quirk, is sometimes figuring out oh, do I need to be a little bit forward? Do I need to be a little bit higher? And, you know, just being able to pass some of these obstacles like in such a funny way.
I think that's one of the perks of using a keyboard for this game. We have 2 modes. We are either at a dead stop or we are going as fast as possible. That can break some of the hazards in the game.
I know that you two are going to enter concentration mode very sort of quickly in this stage. Is there anything that you want to say before you knuckle down?
I do actually. Top route, best route.
How dare you?
Agreed.
Oh, it's a good thing that they're going to be quiet for a little bit so that you don't have to listen to their false preaching. But they're coming up to the first and only boss of this game at the end of Landslide Limbo. It probably has a name, but we don't know what it is. Spectral is going to be going for a quick kill on this boss, which he doesn't quite get. He might be setting up for a second one, though. So there is a way that you can quick kill this boss by jumping in a particular area, and it's looking like the boss is giving both of them quite a hard time, neither of them managing to get it. But this boss is very strange. It has a couple of dead zones where when those spike wheels come down, you can't hit it. So every so often you'll sort of bounce off the boss, but not register a hit. So yeah, it can be very, very troublesome, very tiring. So S2 has managed to get through that, and Spec has not had the best of boss fights.
That was a rough one for me for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to be adding an extra quarter in there just in case. Yeah, we both were trying. So very recently, actually, Spec has labbed out that boss kill, and we have found not one but 2 methods for it. It used to be a thing that just happened sometimes, and runners didn't know why, and so we would just go and play up until that point, and our runs would die like 90% of the time. It was pretty bad. So big shout out to Spec there for actually finding consistent ways. Both of us missed it because it's still a very, very difficult trick, but shout out to Spec for actually figuring out how to do that one.
And shout out to him for finding out the faster trick.
That is
about
true.
a year
Yeah, shout
before
out to
I even
him.
discovered my setup.
I mean, I wouldn't say I found it. I think I stumbled on it. But we're using it now, which is brilliant. And that's what's helped these runners bring their times down to under 11 minutes, a fabled minute barrier. Now they have moved on to Wild Waterways, and S2 is about to approach the most unforgiving section, especially if you're just beginning this game. All of the controls that he's doing right now are really, really tight. And it's very, very easy to find yourself in the water, and that will knock quite a lot of health out of you. Also, sharp-eyed amongst us, you will notice that every time one of these runners collects a ring, the character's health bar will go up a little bit. So that's how health sort of works in this game. S2 managing to get through with only 1 fall into the water. Let's see how Spectre does in the second set.
As you saw there, I actually kind of clipped through the platform and just fell into the water, even though I had pretty much landed on it. So the hitboxes on it are pretty odd. It is definitely one of the harder sections when you're first starting out this game.
Recovering is equally difficult as well because you spawn right at the edge of a platform and it's really easy to keep falling off until you lose a life.
Yes.
All right, now we are on to Eggman's Tower. The alliteration stops right at the end, which is a bit of a shame, but we move. This stage is super dependent on cycles and how these, I suppose, smashers? I don't know what we want to call them, but these are incredibly hard to work with, and if you just misplace one jump or you start approaching them at a slightly different time, they're sort of all over the place, so it can be very, very tricky, especially when you're trying to shoot for a couple of second PB.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest places to lose or gain time in a run. Bonking into these things or getting hit by them is a very big time loss, and so it's kind of good to get practice at this level and really learn it. And it's definitely one of the key parts of a good run is having a good Eggman Tower.
Nice. S2 is approaching the last section. He's got to have a little 1-2 with Eggman. Ask him what's going on. Well, actually, having said that, at the moment he's Robotnik, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is.
He was the
It's still
Eggman
called
I spoke
Eggman
of.
in the game.
Funny how how nature does that.
It's very unfortunate that there's a alarm going over this because, in my opinion, this is the best song in the entire game.
Agreed.
But it is covered by a very annoying sound effect, and that is time for me.
GG's for S2. Spectral is coming down to the end of this long sort of stair section, I suppose, and this is what depends on what a good ending is and a bad ending. I will let Spec call for time.
Time.
And GG's. So there's a good ending and a bad ending. Both of them made the good ending, which is quicker because they want to get out of there alive. And there we see Sonic, Ray, and Mighty have escaped this booby-trapped island, and they make it out all right. So GG's. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Good game, Spec.
Yeah,
that was a very, very close race.
That was,
I have a feeling S2 just took that one. There were a couple of lead changes. He started off very strong, Spec, but it's sort of...
That boss was just not happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, that boss, it really can be a turning point in the run, but that was a very close run. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, likewise.
I will say that I really do admire both of you going for the quick kill, because both of you could have gone for something incredibly, much, much safer. But I really admire it, because that is something that's very hard to do, and it takes away a lot of your health. And yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I have mentioned that this is a short and sweet show, so if one of you would like to attempt to show off what that quick boss kill looks like, you're more than welcome. We will say now that yes, this is a game that is incredibly hard to get our hands on the original hardware, so we are using emulation for this. But
I can try it if you want me to.
I don't have a save state, so I'm going to.
I will give it a couple shots, see if I can get it working.
Brilliant. So Spec is going to try and line up with that little electric fence pole there. Are you going to do... Oh, I was thinking you were going to do it first try.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too.
Imagine. Trying to do a little bit of line-up work, and he wants to bonk against the middle of this
I'll do
boss.
one more try, see if I can get it.
Very tight window.
There we go.
Hey, very nice. So that is what the quick boss kill looks like. Instead of having to hit the boss, I believe it's 8 hits. Is it 8 hits?
It's 10 hits.
10 hits.
Yeah.
10
Wow.
hits. Yeah.
So instead of 10
one's-
hits, you
It
do a
saves,
little
like
bonk.
9 seconds.
Yeah, it's a big time save. Instead of having to hit it 10 times, you only have to hit it once. And it's something to do with the collision. There's a whole lot of sort of science behind it, but it's not worth really talking about. So GG's, both of you. Well played.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you would like to say before we head off into the next game? I know that S2 is going to be sticking around for a little bit longer, but Spec, is there anything that you would like to say about this game or about you? Where can people find you if they wanted to?
Well, you can find me on Twitch, and also big shout outs to UHIB and S2 for getting me into this game and, going over all the strats and, getting me up to speed the fastest way possible.
You're welcome.
Really
It's been brilliant having you running this game. You've sort of really reignited it. Yeah. It's been great.
Yeah. I want to say thank you to Spec. Like I said, he's really labbed out the game recently. He actually has the world record now. And if you haven't watched that run and you're interested in this game after this run, go watch it, because the precision there is really insane to watch. Like it's on another level, man. Your PB is amazing.
Thank you. You'll be catching up soon enough at this rate.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm hoping, at least.
Well, S2 takes the bragging rights for this match. So everybody, thank you so much for catching this race. Do stick around. We have got more of lovely S2. And if you're interested in this game, you should definitely check out the Classic Sonic Speedrun Discord, where we do a little bit of talking about it. I think hopefully we found all there is to find, but maybe there's more. Maybe there is something that you can contribute. So if this is something that you're interested in, there's a whole load of guides to help get this set up and working for you. We would love to see more runners. So thank you very much for watching this SegaSonic, but we have got Sonic, I believe it's Sonic Drift, isn't it, from UST?
I believe Sonic Drift is up next, yeah.
Yes, which is our golden game. It is a combination of a handheld title and it's region exclusive. What a win for the Going Places show. So everybody do stick around. We are going to have a short break whilst we get S2 set up on the Game Gear. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We really hope that you enjoyed that exhilarating race. We have got the winner here. Before we start this Sonic Drift run, we might as well. What's this sort of like post-race interview? How does it feel being the winner of another SegaSonic the Hedgehog race, ST?
I honestly am surprised. I must say, Spec is a very good and very consistent player of the game. I definitely was worried. I spent the entire day yesterday just practicing the game. I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. He's very, very good and very consistent player, and it was definitely a close race too. We were only like a handful of seconds apart, so I was really on the edge of my seat the whole time playing.
I certainly enjoyed watching it, but we're now moving over to a completely different console. But it's our magic game, both a handheld exclusive and a region exclusive. Sonic Drift. Why is Sonic in a car, ST? Please explain the great answers that are mankind wonders.
I mean, he's already the fastest on foot, so he might as well, become the fastest in a car too.
Actually, it's a little ironic that.
I don't even know that I can say he really achieved that goal though, because we are going to be playing as Amy in this run, and I think we should just get into the run and we can explain it as it goes.
Indeed.
Alrighty, so I'm going to get us started up here. When you're ready on the timer.
Do you want me to count you down?
I can count myself in.
No way, you can count. I'm so proud of you.
I can count to 3.
Yo,
I know it.
That's perfect. That's just what we need.
It's great. Yeah, that's all the more you need to know to play this game. The ability to count to 3. All right, so if you are ready,
yeah.
3, 2, 1, start.
Good luck.
Thank you. So yeah, we're going to be keeping that theme of racing up. This time, not racing another runner, but playing a racing game. And as you will see, if you're familiar with this game, which I imagine not everybody is, you will see I am drifting onto the grass, and you might be thinking, that's probably not good, but no, that is in fact what we want to be doing, actually, believe it or not. This game has some very funky mechanics, and I will be explaining them as I go. But all you need to know is drifting is such a good mechanic that they named the game after it. So you're gonna see me trying to drift a lot here. Hib, you've actually taken a stab at this game. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I feel like taking a stab is giving me too much credit. I think maybe I have picked up the stabbing apparatus and put it down again, because this game is, well, you say it isn't hard to pick up, but it's a completely different Sonic game. I love the Sonic series because it's just so like crazy how many different types of games there are in it. But this one stands out because, well, I mean, they did make a second one, but it's a racing game for a Game Gear. Like it's an 8-bit title.
Yes, it is kind of interesting that they chose the Game Gear for this one. It does have support for multiplayer, actually. If you had that little Game Gear link cable, I'm not sure what they actually called the cable. I'm kind of blanking on that, but if you have 2 copies of this game, you can race a friend. I don't know how easy it is to convince a friend to play Sonic Drift with you. I certainly have had some trouble doing so.
ST, I'm going to join you in a house party, and we'll link up.
Yes, it'll be a very fun time. So
we'll be the cool kids.
Oh yeah, no, that's like #1 party activity. Race your friends in Sonic Drift. So this game is actually exclusive to Japan, and it also got a very poorly documented South African release.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So this game is fitting both the requirements for this show as a handheld and a region exclusive, and I think that's wonderful. I feel like this show was made for this game, or maybe this game was made for this show.
I'm sure Sega had it in mind. Now,
I'm sure.
A lot of people will be making comparisons like with this game, with of course Mario and what Mario's done in a go-kart, but I mean, you certainly don't have the items of Mario. We've seen a couple of boxes and some springs on the stages. What do those do for you?
Yes, so there are 3 items, I guess you could call them. Well, there's actually 4 items you could call them on a stage. There are rings, which I'll get into in a minute here. There's that red box that I just passed. There's a blue box, or I guess blue monitor and red monitor. And then there's a spring. So the spring does pretty much what you'd expect. It makes you jump up. You will lose your other power-ups, though, so you'll often find we're trying to avoid springs. The blue monitor gives you invincibility, which is really great. It's very helpful. And the red monitor gives you a speed boost. And then there are the rings, which kind of segues me into talking about characters in this game. So you might be wondering, why have I chosen Amy? It is because Amy has the best stats in the game. And yes, there are stats in this game. They're not very obvious, but there are stats in this game. Amy has a crazy high acceleration, which is just so broken that it, she's just the go-to character. And so these rings, when you get 2 of them, if you press up on the D-pad, you can use an item. For example, I'll do one now because I can. That little heart that you've seen, I've thrown. It's kind of like a Mario Kart banana peel, keeping with that Mario Kart comparisons. And Sonic's is an actual speed boost, and even with having a speed boost as his item, he's still slower than Amy. That's just how crazy good she is. And so that is why we're going to be playing Amy in all 3 of the games categories, all 3 of the GPs here. Is because she is just that fast.
I've seen a lot of people poking fun about the Game Gear's battery life, which I think is something that it could never really escape. How many? I know that you've got. Well, we've put down a 22-minute estimate for this run. How many estimates? How many runs of this game do you think you could fit in before the game inevitably collapsed?
Yeah. So, this game right now, I mean, my estimate for this category is somewhere in the 20-minute mark, like 22 minutes or something like that, I believe. And so, you might get like a good maybe run and a half before your Game Gear's battery dies. Or I guess I should say the batteries die. It's 6 AA's. That thing is a monster.
I forgot it was 6. I knew it was multiple, but I completely forgot it was 6.
It is 6. The Game Gear uses one of those like tube lighting. I'm not sure what to call it. I'm kind of blanking on what to call it, but it's one of those like tube fluorescent lights maybe.
Wow.
For a backlight, and it just absolutely eats batteries. So it's kind of a meme in the Game Gear community about the battery life.
Good old retro gaming.
Yeah. So we have finished our first GP already. That one is the fastest of the 3. The other 2 clock in at just under 7 minutes. Actually, Red GP this month, I believe, very recently for sure, just broke that 7-minute barrier. Shout out to Dweather, another top runner of this game, who actually was the first person to break that 7-minute barrier.
And not only breaking a 7-minute barrier, I believe you had a hold on the leaderboards for this game. You had a sweep.
Yes, so I for a little over a year had a full sweep on all the ILs and the records on this game. And Weather, absolute madman, just decided, hey, I'm gonna stop that, and he did. So shout out to him for just being super cracked at the game. I have been able to reclaim that hold though, I must say. So maybe somebody here can step up to bat and do what he's done.
Just a humble flex there.
Give me a run for my money. Yes. This game I know honestly looks like I'm just driving, but it is pretty complex. The way runners think about it is you kind of imagine a line that you're supposed to take, And it is certainly not a straight line. It is all over the place, kind of weaving back and forth across the tracks and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But there are, what we call lines on these stages where you just have a path that you kind of want to stick to as good as possible and get as much drifting done as you can. So this game is pretty complex mechanics-wise, actually. There's a lot of stuff even I don't understand about it still. Oh, shoot. And, sometimes you just get off a little bit and you lose time. It goes that way. It's fun. We get to actually lap Eggman, and if I do really good, sometimes we'll even be able to lap Tails. So unlike the sequel to this game does not have rubber banding, and you can just really dog on the NPCs.
Now, I know that, I would hope that some of the sharp-eyed viewers will have noticed the stages that are in this game, the different race courses. Which ones return from Sonic 1? Because this is, I'm about to get it wrong, Spring Yard. That's the word.
Yes, this is Spring Yard. Yes. So all of the stages are just the Sonic 1 stages, and unfortunately, the different GPs do not change that. All of them just run you through the Sonic 1 levels. So it is kind of nice that it's familiar locations, I guess. It's a pretty cool thing, Sonic Drift was overusing Green Hill before it was cool.
Well, if people feel like they haven't got enough Green Hill, we will have something for you later, which you will enjoy.
Yes, referencing older Sonic games, some sharp-eared viewers may be noticing that invincibility theme that was playing, that is playing right now, is actually a sped-up version of a composition from Sonic 2 for the Game Gear, which is a game I absolutely adore, by the way. But it is a sped-up version of the Green Hills, not Green Hill, Green Hills theme, which was also later adapted into the title music for the Japanese release of Sonic CD. So, pretty recognizable tune in the Sonic franchise now. Or at least, for longtime fans. And it gets its use in this game through a sped-up version.
You mentioned a love for Sonic 2 for the Game Gear. I know personally that the whole reason, the whole S2 motif, the whole name and everything, that has come from that game. Is that something that you've run particularly?
Yes, I actually, I have not uploaded a run to SRC,
Cool.
but
Okay.
I do actually run Sonic 2 on the Game Gear. I'm not a very good runner, but I have done my fair share of attempts at it. It's honestly a fun game. That game is also very difficult, so I must say, if you're going to take the jump into it, maybe go with the Master System version of it, as it's a little bit easier since you're not struggling with screen crunch the entire time. But must say, a very fun game. So I actually picked up a red monitor here, which I want to talk about. That red monitor doesn't always show up, and people thought it was actually RNG for a very long time. But it's actually sprite manipulation, and I can't really give like a full explanation as to how it works or what to do to load it in or not load it in. It's just kind of a feel-based thing for me, but there are ways to make sprites unload and load in pretty much at your command if you really are knowing what you're doing. And so there's some like crazy stuff that we might see. I'll probably bring it up again later, as I'll be using it a bit more in the red GP. So I just wanted to kind of explain that it is a thing where you can unload certain sprites in this game, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it means you don't get a power-up.
I think that the TLDR is, it happens.
Yes, exactly.
It just happens. It's just Sonic Drift things.
It is just Sonic Drift things. It really is. It certainly is a buggy little game. Nothing too crazy, but it just has its fair shares of what was that moment, you know? One of the annoying things about running with the invincibility is that you cannot see your character very much. That is not like a streaming frame rate thing. It is in fact just that when you get the invincibility, you turn invisible for very long periods of time. And so a lot of like high skill strats involve those invincibility monitors, which is unfortunate because they're very hard to pick up and learn since you can't see yourself. You can actually overdrift in this game. I think I did it maybe once or twice there, to be honest. But if you hold a drift for too long, you'll spin out and you'll lose all your momentum. So not great. And one of the ways that we prevent that is by just simply watching for the sprites and making sure that we're not, seeing the wrong thing. And so when you can't see your character, it becomes a lot harder.
I'm just gonna say, when it comes to the end of this GP, can you pause on that frame of Tails? Because
Yes.
Tails' flag is somebody's
funny.
pointed it out. It's very eerie.
Yeah, he's got like a pretty funny face going on there. If he gets third place, I will definitely pause it. So another thing that I want to point out is when you start drifting, you'll kind of see me going kind of moving backwards towards the way that I'm going. And there's just a very weird momentum thing going on that is the cause for that. Once you start drifting, your character tends to just want to keep going that way, even if you yourself have already turned to be facing the other way. So sometimes, it can be a little bit difficult to regain control of your character here. And it's just a gameplay mechanic we gotta work around,
Now, I know that this game received a sequel. Yeah, believe it or not, this
Yeah.
game in this state did receive a sequel. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know that you've done a little bit of work on that, but it's not quite as. Is it as fun as this game, or is it just a bit too different?
I'm gonna have to say no, to be honest. I personally, now Drift 2 is not a bad game. If it's your cup of tea, great. I'm extremely happy for you. But Drift 2 is not my thing because the drift got changed. And actually a lot of things got changed, but the drift got changed. And that's what really, that's what really bothers me is in this game, basically, if you want to speedrun it, all you really need to know is press the drift button, drift a lot. And in Drift 2, you basically don't want to drift. It slows you down. So that's where I have my problems with Drift 2 is they call it Sonic Drift, but the focus of the game is to not drift, and that just seems like bad game design to me.
Sonic driving, I think, is what
Yeah,
it turns into.
They should have called it something else. Maybe Sonic Drive in a straight line, yeah. But that being said, I don't dislike Sonic Drift 2 as a game. I think this game kind of is the better one. In my personal opinion, it is the more fun game.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I can't write anybody off for liking Sonic Drift 2 or anything, but after seeing this, once you play Drift 1, you kind of can't go back to Drift 2. I also grew up with this game though, which you might be saying, "Oh, you're not Japanese. How did you grow up with this game?" It got re-released like a couple times actually. So if you've seen this game and it looks familiar to you and you're thinking, I certainly did not have a Japanese Game Gear, how did this happen? It was added in the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for PS2 and Xbox, and it was also an unlockable in Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. I believe if you get 30 emblems, might be more than 30. I am unfortunately not a SADX expert, so oh shoot. But I can't get that number. I can't say I have it memorized, to be honest.
So remind us, we are seeing a lot of the same stages in, of course, the different GPs. But what makes them different from GP to GP? Are the sort of AI for the different characters different, or are we seeing different maps for
Yeah,
each?
so each GP you're actually seeing different level layouts. You might have picked up on that fact from the huge map screen that takes up half of the entire screen's real estate. Oh shoot, I'm running into everything on this map. I am sorry. I will have to focus a little bit, so my commentary might be a little bit off, but I'm going to attempt to explain this while I do so. So yeah, each GP has its own unique maps on it, map layouts, I should say, because the courses are still going to be the same, which might be confusing at first, but they tend to have more turns the higher the GP, or I guess like the further down in the menu you go, I should say. So I don't know if that really adds complexity to them or not. This game, in my opinion, well, I obviously have a little bit of a biased view, but this game, in my opinion, is pretty easy, so I can't really vouch for the difficulty. You can actually up the difficulty in the menu settings. Once again, I don't really know how much that changes because I'm usually lapping these characters. But yeah, there's certainly ways to make the casual drift experience more challenging if you want to.
As we're on the last race, I would like to point out to everybody, if you've only just been watching the bottom half of the display, I know the map takes up like a whole half of it, but do have a look at it, because if you compare the speed that S2 is going at compared to the other races, it's quite amusing, especially the corners. Just
Yeah.
suddenly zip ahead.
Yes, that is actually a very weird quirk in the game's mechanics, where if you drift the opposite way of where you're supposed to go in a corner, you just speed up for some reason, and it's quite funny. So I wish I could play the game like off of the map to watch it more, because that would be funny, but unfortunately you do have to look at the road when you're driving, so can't do that. And we are about to come up on time here. I am going to call it in 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, so
GG.
we actually don't get that flag screen. I'm sorry, I
Oh
forgot.
no! Oh, funny tails face
Yeah,
though.
we
Look
do
at-
get
look
the
at that
funny
one.
tails face. Whoever drew the sprites for him gave him a little bit of like a balloon head going on. He's a little bit uncanny. It's quite a funny sprite. But yeah, that is the game.
Brilliant.
What was
GG.
my time?
Looking on my end like a 20:56.
Hey, that's not bad. That's 6 seconds off a world record.
Hey, nice job.
We were close. So that was not a bad run at all.
I believe that was a world record that you got during an event as well.
Yes,
It seems
that one.
There seems to be
yeah.
a theme.
It does. Yeah, this game seems to have pretty decent marathon appearances.
Or as the game is saying, congratulations.
Congratulations.
If people are interested in the game, where can they find you? Because I think you are certainly the most active member of the Sonic speedrunning community who runs this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me pretty much anywhere. I'll be on Twitch under S2 Live. You can find me there. I probably will be playing this game on there. It's like one of a couple games I come back to from time to time, so I certainly do stream this game every now and then. If you honestly show up in the Classic Sonic community Discord, I'm always willing to help new runners with this game if you're ever interested. So, you know, if you have any interest in this game, just reach out to your boy, because I am certainly a Sonic Drift maniac.
I am very scared because I don't know. Well, sounds like a scary prospect. But if you thought that game was scary, ooh boy, we have got quite an incredible game coming next. So do stick around because S2 is taking us on another trip. This isn't a region exclusive, but it was originally released on a handheld. Again, the Game Gear. So hopefully we can recharge our batteries and come back and beat the game before the Game Gear dies. We are going to be showing off Sonic Blast. So please do stick around. We are going to have a quick break, have a stretch, have yourself a bit of hydration, enjoy the tunes, and yes, buckle up because this is going to be quite the ride.
Indeed.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Going Places, the GDQ hotfix show that goes around the world to bring you region-exclusive games, as well as games that we would take on our travels on handheld devices. We have had this whole show is a bit of a catalogue of strange Sonic games, and that's the sort of thing that I love, and I think this is where it reaches its strangest. S2 is back on the mic, and he is about to show off Sonic Blast.
Hello.
That's all I've got to say about it, really. It is. I know I'm setting the tone. I'm not really setting the tone, but I don't want to get people too excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out and say it now. This might be the first bad Sonic game we show off today. Maybe even the only one. I can't really say. I haven't played too much Pocket Adventure myself, but this game is a weird one for sure. This is a left field pick, in my opinion. So I am just going to get us started here with Sonic Blast, or as Japanese viewers might know it, G-Sonic. So is our timer ready?
Our timer is ready.
All right. Then I'm going to count us in. 3, 2, 1, go. So you'll probably noticed first off that these sprites are huge and kind of ugly. And they're like pre-rendered graphics, kind of like Donkey Kong Country if you want to think about it like that, but since it's an 8-bit game on Game Gear, it certainly doesn't look as nice. We're taking a little bit of a funny route today. That's fine. I definitely didn't miss 2 jumps. But yeah, so now I get to talk about this fun thing, signpost RNG. We are off to a pretty bad start considering that is the worst possible instance of signpost RNG you can get. There are, I believe, 5 signs, 6 signs. There is that emerald that we just got, which takes the longest. Then there is the Sonic and Supersonic times, which take second longest. And then there is the Ring, the Knuckles, and Eggman. And those ones are a lot shorter. And so those are the ones we're going to hopefully see more of throughout the run. And hopefully less of those emeralds. But yes, this game, terribly RNG dependent. You seriously can lose like 4 seconds on every signpost. So big chunk of time for a 15-minute run. Big chunk of time to lose.
With losing time, if you ever race this game on a marathon, you could also lose runs to that, as I have found out all too often. I have ran I delved into a little bit of Sonic, but I've run the Knuckles category of this game, which I am one to think that it's a little bit easier. I know that S2 thinks otherwise, but they're both. I think the speedrunning games, depending on how seriously you want to take it, I'd say that it's quite a good one to start off with. Even like the whole thing looks a little bit ugly. The music is all right, and really the gameplay isn't that bad. It's a quick speed run.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to think about it all too much.
Yeah, I'd say the gameplay is pretty simple, and it makes for a good speed run. I just can't exactly recommend this game casually, which I don't think anybody is really looking at this and going, I want to sit down and play this casually, but I think for speedrun, it's actually a decent speedrun because it's simple and it's not hard to pick up, like you said. And there is a somewhat decent variety of categories. You've got 2 characters that act very differently. This is Knuckles' only playable appearance outside of Sonic Drift 2 on the Game Gear. So if you're a hardcore Knuckles platforming fan like our friend Hypnotics here, then this is one you might want to check out for that reason. But yeah, the game suffers from a lot of, like, you get lag from the sprites, you get screen crunch because the sprites are huge, and the levels just are kind of simple and the movement is basic, so it's a game. That's really what I can say for Sonic Blast.
There's a lot of blink and you missed it moments. For the first 2 stages that we've had in this game, you'll notice that there is a naming motif. So, of course, you know, every Sonic game has got to start with a Green Hill in some capacity. And, of course, this game actually called them Green Hills, isn't it? Or is it just straight up Green Hill?
This one is Green Hill.
Yeah, well, there we go. Another excuse to call it Green Hill. And this is Yellow Desert. And this is... What is this? This boss is a reference to something, isn't it?
Yeah, this boss is kind of a reference to, like, maybe Dragon Ball or Journey to the West. Excuse me. We got the cloud. We got the hole there. Very fun little reference, and just goes to show that Sonic could beat Goku in a fight.
That was a quick boss as well.
Yes.
You did quite well with that.
Thank you. Yeah, so another fun fact about the level naming convention, like Hypnotics was talking about there, is in the best ending category, the emeralds you get are actually the same color as their designated level. And this is the first one that I like to joke about because it's called Red Volcano, and as you can see, it is a little bit purple. So that's hilarious in my opinion, but I understand that nobody else on the planet finds that particularly humorous.
Sega do a little trolling.
They do, just a bit.
Now, this stage has a lot of damage boosting in it, doesn't it?
It does. The invincibility frames in this game last a long time. I see people complain about some of the other Sonic games, saying that they're like Super Mario Bros. 3 level. I would call this one like one of the worst offenders of huge iframes. You seriously can get away with like running through a lot of hazards, like that entire pool of lava. So we are going to come up on some big platforming in the next level here. And I haven't actually talked about it yet, but you might have noticed Sonic has an ability in this game which is pretty unique to this game in that he can double jump. So if you ever wanted to see Sonic double jump, this is what it looks like. He gives off some little like spark particles when he does it, which leads me to believe it might be inspired by the electric shield from Sonic 3, but you know, that's just me thinking about it, voicing my opinions.
Nice, and it's interesting the fact that in this game, Knuckles isn't just a reskin. Knuckles gets his gliding and his climbing, which makes the game run a little bit different to Sonic's, and it makes this boss fight less hazardous,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yes, I'm kind of taking it safe, which is causing me to go a bit slower. I got a cycle right there. You basically want to get spin dashes super late on this guy while he's falling to get a second hit each time he jumps up. Because if you do any earlier than that, you'll take damage, and since we're floating on that weird cylinder thing, we can't really get our rings back easily, so it's hard. Luckily, you can take damage a lot of times because in order to reduce slowdown in this game, you only lose, I believe it's 5 rings at a time when you take damage, and not your entire pool of rings. So it is pretty nice that you can take damage a couple of times, but you still have to be extremely careful. Now
It's also nice that Dr. Robotnik gave you a platform so you could actually fight that boss.
Yes, very, very kind of him.
Ooh, this jump,
Okay,
can you get it?
Can I get it? This jump
This is
very difficult.
Very tight.
I got it. Oh
he
my
does.
god. That one
Brilliant.
that one is extremely tight. One of 2 super tight jumps in this run. Both happen in not Marina Madness, man. Shows
Almost.
Shows I've been playing too much Knuckles Chaotix recently. Blue Marine. This level is where the game just totally spikes in difficulty. We've seen some very short and easy levels so far, and now we are going to see pretty long, winding, and difficult levels.
Yeah, this is certainly the level that becomes the casual killer.
Yes, especially being that it's an underwater level, you can drown like ridiculously easy. I almost jumped into a crab with no rings there. So very obviously this game is out to get you at this point. And that is because we have already passed the halfway mark on this game. It is pretty short. So this is like the back half of the game. There's only one more zone after this one.
But yes, there is nothing that S2 is doing differently when it comes to this stage. He just has to fight with, with the water physics of this game. It just makes the game incredibly sluggish.
Yes, luckily...
Even more sluggish than it was before.
Luckily, we don't have to go out of our way to find air bubbles because going into one of these pipes refills your air. And if you know anything about Game Gear Sonic games, then you know when they don't know what to do with the level, they just clap some pipes in it. So we have a good amount. Here's the other very tight jump that I have to make, and I made it.
Hey.
So we are on pretty good pace, not gonna lie. Though now we're going to lose 4 seconds because of bad signpost RNG.
Thank you, Emerald. Very cool.
Thank you, signpost RNG. It's all right though. It's all right though. I still think we can end on a good time. I don't think it's going to kill our run completely.
Oh, this
boss is probably the hardest boss in the game, to be honest. It looks kind of like a reskin of the first one, but it is just so much more janky because you've got to deal with the whole water thing, and you've got to deal with him shooting these, and you got to deal with drowning. And yes, you can drown after you've beaten the boss in that very long victory animation. So I am actually, since I'm failing to hit him so much, I am actually going to go out of my way to hit an air bubble here.
Yeah, I found out the hard way when it comes to dying after the boss. I think it was in a race against you, and
yes.
I think that very much swayed the balance because
it did.
When it comes to this, it doesn't save any of the boss hits that you've done on this. It sends you straight back to the start of the level. So
yes.
Yeah, this game can be quite unforgiving, but it does have checkpoints in the form of when it comes to the 8-bit games, they have the checkpoints in the boxes in the monitors that have the down arrow.
Yes, that is correct. So we probably could have done that a little faster, but we didn't take damage. You know, we got through it, so I'm not going to complain about that one. Now we're into Silver Castle. This is the final zone in the game, and we will get to see a very interesting boss fight. But we're going to see lots of like teleporters here. And this is where it becomes very crucial to know the level layouts for this game is in Silver Castle. It is certainly important to know where you're going.
I'd like to know what era of architecture this castle was made in, because I mean, when I look at it, I'm not getting the word castle. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, I would be very interested in taking a delve into some Sonic lore to find that one out. So these floors slow us down, so we're gonna jump over those. This is kind of a bad situation. Yeah, that guy, I should have tried to take him out before starting up my spin dash there. That was a dumb mistake.
Now, quite often when we hear about classic Sonic games, they'll talk about different sort of taps of spin dashes, and I know that the Game Gear only had 2 buttons for doing so.
Yes,
what sort of speeds do you get from spin dashes, or is it very linear?
Yeah, so luckily for us, they just decided to kind of take out the whole spin dash charging thing in general. So if you tap down an A, you're pretty much going to get the full the full package there. Just a whole lot of speed. That was actually pretty good on that thing. You have to charge up that teleporter. That's the only one that you actually have to do it for, but that is why I was jumping in place there. That'll work.
Nice.
Okay, and that's our last signpost in the game. So it's no longer RNG dependent. It now just comes down to me playing the video game.
And we saw our boy Knuckles as well.
Yeah, we did. We got to see Knuckles for all the Knuckles fans out there. So now we are entering the final boss, and I am going to pick my favorite thing to talk about in this game. If you look, if you look to the bottom right of
He's doing it again.
Eggman, you'll see there is a singular pixel that moves with him that is just not supposed to be drawn on that sprite.
No, S2, they're innocents. You can't just be telling people these sorts of
I am
things.
so sorry to ruin this already mediocre game for you, but they left 2 random pixels on the Eggman boss. We're actually getting good RNG on this boss. I lied, the signpost wasn't the last instance of RNG. He can sometimes do fake out shots, which take just so much more time because the animation lasts just about forever, like he did right there. And so if you get a bunch of those, you can lose a good amount of time on it. But
Man, I love Atari Breakout for the Sega Game Gear. That was
that's time. That's time. What was my time?
We are just going to get confirmation on that in a second. Also,
Thank
GG,
you.
well done.
Thank you.
I think there were a few moments of dodgy RNG here and there, but I think that was a solid
It was
time,
not
all
bad.
things considered.
My start was a little rough, but I got it together. I had a great Blue Marine, actually. I was very surprised to hit both those jumps. There is actually another boss if you go for all the emeralds. That is a lot harder. And if you want to see a best ending run of the game, you should certainly go out and watch one, because that boss is somewhat interesting. But this is pretty much the easier category, and other than that one boss, there's no difference between the runs really, other than just having to do multiple minutes of special stages. So if you want my recommendation, this is the way to go if you're interested in this game and picking it up.
Alrighty, I believe that the time that you have got was a 14:26.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
So, well done. I
Thank
know
you.
we've done a little bit of talking about it before, and actually before I get onto that, I would like to send my sort of biggest tributes to friends and family. Let's try that again. Friends and family of the Only Kid, because the Only Kid had come on to 2 of our races before, both on an ESA marathon and Games Done Quick, and they did some brilliant commentary for us. They preached about Knuckles, which is exactly what I would have wanted from commentary, and they were quite invested in this rivalry that I have got with S2. I know that this was just an S2 showing, but if we can get some GNU, the Only Kid, in chats, that would be much appreciated. We love you, Kid.
Yes.
Thank you for all that you've done.
I'd like to extend that same sentiment. Kid really was one of the main reasons I continued playing this game. They certainly made my memories of playing this game just a lot better, and I want to thank them for that.
But let's end on a cheery note. When it comes to community, the Only Kid absolutely loved the Sonic the Hedgehog speedrunning community. So S2, I know that this is sort of a game that I actually moderate for, but you can do a little bit of talking about it if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I said what I have to say about this game. I can quickly recap. I think it's a very fun speedrun, especially for beginners, as it's not super complicated. So if you're interested in speedrunning and want to run a Sonic game, and you don't want to, sink thousands of hours into learning like screen wraps and stuff that some of the more complex games have, Sonic Blast is a great little speedrunning excursion. As for a casual game, I can't necessarily say the same, but it's not terrible. Those are really my thoughts on the game, though. It's a nice little speedrun. If you ever are interested in running it, feel free to reach out to me, or I'm sure Hypnotics will probably, he'd probably be okay with you reaching out to him as well. We're certainly...
All I'm going to say about it is that you can play as Knuckles, so there's really no excuse why you shouldn't give this game a go.
We're certainly open to bringing in new runners, though, and teaching about this game.
We have actually probably got just a tiny bit of time. Now, you mentioned that there was another category in this game that was the best ending. Would you be prepared to show off what the special stages look like? Because I, for one, know that they are incredibly cursed.
Yeah, I could fire up and get to Green Hill 2 for that.
Nice.
That gives me a chance to maybe redeem myself on that horrible Green Hill 1 I had earlier anyway. So
of course, every Sonic game, well, almost every Sonic game has its best ending, and this game, along with all of the other 8-bit titles, has 6 emeralds. I think they are Chaos Emeralds in this one, aren't they?
Does it have 6? I thought it had 5.
Oh yeah, okay, inconsistency. It's the Sonic series. What do you expect?
Yeah, this is probably, I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this is one of, if not the lowest emerald count in a Sonic game, with only 5 of them.
One thing I will say is that, yes, what you're about to see is incredibly cursed, but this game also received a Sega Master System, a very poor port on the Sega Master System, which has even worse special stages, but this is what you get on the Game Gear. So if you're interested, definitely have a look at that on YouTube. But
yes, this is the special stage. No, it does not get fast. Well, it actually does get faster than this. I'm lying, but not here. Every one of these special stages goes from this slow up until the final one where you're moving so fast you can barely control yourself and must memorize the level layout. And what's really unfortunate about these is you get one shot at each one. So, it's not your standard Sonic experience where you miss an emerald and it's fine, you just try it again in the next level. No. These only show up in the second act of each zone, and you get one shot at them. So this, especially in terms of a speedrun in the best ending category, it's a little bit punishing, but they're also not that difficult. I believe I've already passed the count of rings that I need to finish this one.
And yes, the depth perception is just as bad as it looks.
It really is.
You think that you've registered a ring when sometimes you've just gone straight past it, which, it's beyond Crash Bandicoot levels of perspective.
Yeah, but that is the special stages for those interested in seeing that. It is certainly a special stage. I think that's all I really have to show off for the game, though.
Brilliant. Well, S2, we've had you on for 3 runs. It seems like you were sort of made for this show with your handheld exclusives and a combination of region exclusives as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you one last time to sort of shout out yourself.
All right. Yeah. You can find me on Twitch under the name S2 Live, STWOLIVE. Excuse me, I almost misspelled it with how much I meme on myself. But S2 Live. I play Sonic games, I play obscure 90s Japanese anime games, I play just a mix of other stuff too in there, but those 2 categories are the main things that I speedrun. So if you're interested in those, which if you're watching this show, I'm assuming you're interested in at least one of those categories, come check me out sometime. I'd love to have you, and thank you so much, Hypnotics, for having me on this show. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that you had so much to offer. Yeah, just an incredible range, and I have a feeling it might be a catalogue that continues to grow with depends how much I can peer pressure you into doing other games. But we'll see. From S2. We move on a couple of years onto a completely different platform, and not a Sega platform this time around. We are going to be joining Joey Baby 69 with Sonic Pocket Adventure, technically the original Sonic Adventure, on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Yes, such a thing does exist, a Sonic game on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, so do stick around for that, because actually, you know what? As obscure as it is, I think it's an incredible title and well worth your time. So we are going to be having a very quick break. and then we will be on very shortly with a hidden gem. I'd say it's a hidden gem. So thank you, S2, and we will see you in a second.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Going Places, the hotfix that takes you around the world, looking at region-exclusive games, as well as the games that we would take on our travels on our handheld devices. Now, we are going to be looking at the latter with a game that I'm going to make a big deal about it because it just seems like such a weird prospect. A Sonic the Hedgehog game on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Joey Baby is going to be taking us through Sonic Pocket Adventure. Joey, what's up with this game?
Yeah, so once again, I'm JoeyBaby69. So this is Sonic Pocket Adventure, as you can see. So this was released on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which I'm pretty sure 99.9% of you guys have never heard of. So this game is an interesting romp. They combine a lot of bits and pieces from Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and just mesh it all together. A lot of the gameplay has a lot of level design inspired by Sonic 2. But a lot of the music is straight out of Sonic 3. And there's some little bits and pieces in Sonic 1. You can see Sonic here has like his look in Sonic Adventure is just a mishmash of everything of Sonic, like since this game came out in 1999. But yeah, it's a really fun game, a little cute handheld game. If you've never heard this game, I don't know, I think it's like really high up there in terms of my personal tier list of Sonic games, even though it's a really niche game that people don't know of very much. I guess without further ado, I guess I'll get it started. So I'm gonna start it off from here, from 5, 4. Actually, wait, no, not yet. Let me. I want my splits in the background so I can see what time I'm getting. All right. Okay, now I'm ready. All right. From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So this first level, I guess before I even talk about the levels, I want to know if you guys can identify the songs that are playing, because they're all based on a certain game of somewhat.
Ooh, this is a good game. Yeah, this is a good game to play. There are so many 8-bit sort of chiptune remixes of classic Sonic stages, and they're all really, really impressive. It's got a great soundtrack.
I went pretty off route here, so I guess I'm going down. Whee! All right, but yeah, so this game has I've been seeing this game get a decent amount of flack for the sake of it having not as much original stages, just because a lot of it is ripped out of other games. But I think just what it can combine together, it's a really, I don't know, fun little game. So this is Neo South Island. Can you identify this song here? I think we're gonna get to actual songs that people can recognize.
I have a feeling that we can call these stages not Emerald. Well, for this one, definitely not Emerald Hills. It's definitely not Emerald Hills.
So yeah, despite a lot of things being taken from other games, the boss fights has some uniqueness to it. Well, except this guy. If you play Sonic 2, this guy is probably familiar, or at least this contraption is pretty familiar. But same deal as Sonic 2. He goes off screen, get a couple hits, comes back, get the rest of the remaining hits as you go. And I missed the capsule. Cool. So yeah, this game is movement is a little different. So mechanically, so this game in the Genesis games normally you would have three buttons to do spin dashes. The Neo Geo Pocket Color only has 2 jump buttons, so you have 1 less button to do optimal spin dashes with. So I'm doing a lot of spin dashes with just 2 buttons, but this game has some good leniency over how fast you go. So you don't even have to be a good spin dasher or masher to get really good speed in this game. Coming over here. So yeah, this is definitely not a Angel Island Act 2, but when you play it enough, you get used to how the music being played on these stages.
And look-wise, this definitely isn't Chemical Plant. Definitely not.
Definitely
Chemical
not.
Plant. This is, what's it called? What's the name for this stage?
Secret Plant.
Oh, of course.
So we're coming up to the one and only glitch in this game. So there's not much of level wraps or clips or zips like the classic games do, like the Genesis games, but there is a potential path swap we can break. We go over here and we make this jump. You can skip a crucial path swap that makes us phase right through the floor. So we enter to this block area here, make this jump over, and we skip a good portion of the stage by skipping a path swap, and it just removes all the collision of the floor. So here we have not Red Eye. Kind of looks like Red Eye, but it's not Red Eye. See, it's Robotnik right there. You played Sonic for your Knuckles. This layout may look a little familiar. So you just gotta balance on him, take an intentional damage boost here, just so we can get iframes to avoid these set of shots here. And that's the boss. It's also pretty tricky to land on the capsule here. I use like sound cue and just screen movement cues to land straight on the capsule. But 1 of 3 is not too bad. So here we come to probably one of the few stages I dread a lot. If you go bottom route, it's not good. It's not looking good for you. So it's all keeping top route and not falling down.
Interesting. It's something that we saw only a tiny bit in the first level with going a tiny bit off route, but there were sort of strange items that you were picking up with sort of yellow diamonds on them. I know that it's something that I've looked into, but if it's something that you'd like to explain a little bit.
Yeah, so this game has collectibles that you can, so there's puzzle pieces that you can complete in a separate menu in this game. So each level has pieces scattered around, and it's just a way to like add some replay value to the game, where you just collect pieces as you go, and you can make funny little pictures. It's kind of cool because it adds like an extra depth of just, I don't know, more to just going fast. There's like a lot of collecting that you can do in this game. It's a fun little side thing you can do. So Cosmic Casino Act 2 has one of the most infamous boss fights in the game. It's an extremely hard fight to optimize. So basically, you'll be in an arena where Robotnik is bouncing back and forth, kind of like Breakout. You just have to balance on him and just get as much hits as you can without him going too far off top of the screen, just to like go fast. I'm gonna try to do a setup here. I'm gonna stand on this flipper here, stand on a certain position, and try to keep him at a certain spot so he doesn't move very far from where I want to land on him to. Oh, well, that's not a good sign. Yeah, so pretty much the plan here is I want him to be leveled on the bottom of the screen so he doesn't move an inch. After hit 4, he starts trying to homing attack on you. So afterwards, you can just hold a spin dash and stay in place. And that's the fight right there. It's one of the hardest fights to optimize. You can get like a sub-minute in this stage if you play out the boss like really perfectly, but those are like one of the hardest things to pull off. Here we have not Aquatic Ruin, but Aquatic Relix. Close enough for it. With Mushroom Heel music somehow taking the theme here.
It's a very confused game, but bless it, it's doing its best, and what it does do, it does in style, because I think this game, like, it looks and does sound very nice.
Yeah, like I think like visually Sonic looks cute in this game. I really like his sprite in this game. It's really nice. I don't know, I love the art style. Something about the Genesis games never clicked with me too much aesthetically, but this game like kind of nails it to me. It's really nice aesthetically.
Of course, that never stopped you from running the Genesis games, though, because people generally know you more for those titles, the classic trilogy. What made you pick this up? I know that you've mentioned how much you enjoy the game and how it looks and how it runs, but what initially sparked it? Did you see somebody else run it, or did you just think, ooh, I think I could do this?
For Pocket or just like the Genesis in general?
For Pocket Adventure.
So I picked up Pocket for the sole reason that I was running Sonic 2 at a point, and I was not having a good time with the game, at least in terms of, getting the runs I want. So I wanted like some downtime, play something else, and just not look at Sonic 2 for a minute. So I picked up something that was small and short, something that would like hold me over for a little bit, and I picked this one up. This game doesn't have a lot of runners playing this game. In fact, there's like almost none. So the only bits of references I've had to learn this game was looking at Worcester's ILs and runs. And that's pretty much like a culmination of of all the strats I learned. So this was Knuckles here. The introduction of one of the few boss fights that's very RNG heavy. He gave me relatively good RNG. What you want him to do is the glide, because those are the few attack phases that you can attack him. If he spin dashes or he does a punch, that gives him like infinite iframes until he does another move. And if he does that, you literally just have to wait until he just eventually chooses not to. So here's one of the few stages where they didn't feel like it was worth giving a new name. It's just called Sky Chase, and we'll behold, it is Sky Chase. The music, not Sky Chase, though. So if you tap up at a certain height at the start of the stage, you can literally beat the whole stage without doing anything. So I tapped up a little bit. So this position is perfect enough to not even have to do anything. I already won. I don't even have to try. So while I'm gonna use this time to show off the controller I'm using, I customized an arcade stick just for a cute little DIY project I had. And this is what I'm using. If you're wondering where all the clickiness are coming from. So nice. I'm just cruising here. I get hit, but I get the ring immediately to come back to me. So yeah, not much to say about here, other than like, I can't believe they brought this stage back. Because
the one thing that they could have taken away from Sonic 2, but they brought it back.
Like, this game's like already short enough. The game's probably like can be done in less than 15 minutes. 2 minutes of this is just watching this level go by. Yeah, I really don't have to do anything. Like, the rings just come to me and eventually I just survive. I'll keep getting hit, but the ring keeps coming back to me.
Nice. Well, I've got a couple of things that I can say whilst we're letting this auto-scroller roll on, if there's time for me to do so.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you've missed any of this hotfix or any other hotfixes, don't forget that hotfixes go around all the time in between the big biannual events. You can catch up on them on the YouTube channel for Games Done Quick, as well as finding out highlights on the GDQ Summer Best YouTube channel, where we will sort of put our events into small little tidbit videos, which, yes, they're good fun. I have definitely got to recommend. And if you're on YouTube, come watch us over on Twitch. We love seeing new people, and it's quite fun watching these runs live. And I believe Joey is now onto he's actually got to do something now.
This is Aero-based zone, not Wing Fortress at all, and also not Death Egg music. Totally original. So this stage is definitely one of the hardest in the game, for sure. So these platforms, and another set of platforms later, they are not screen-based. They are not... That's a really tight jump to get. I'm glad I got that. They are not screen-based or global cycle. They are power-on cycles. So based on the time you enter this level from relative to when you start, the game, determines what the cycles will be. So you can play perfectly, like in every run, but the platforms could be in different positions based on how fast you even get here, like from the whole run, which can throw you off tremendously. So there's a set of platforms coming up that I want to make sure it's currently there and it is not going to go away, so I can make a clean cycle. I just barely missed it. That's unfortunate. So this is the worst result. So these platforms here, you just have to wait out for 3 cycles of these so you can make this jump up here and come over. That's a little unfortunate, but... So essentially, like, if I got into Aerobase maybe like 2 seconds earlier, that cycle would have been great. And that would have been a really nice romp through the level. So here's Silver Sonic from Sonic 2, robbing Doomsday Zone's music. Despite, his, scary look and all that, he's definitely the easiest fight in the game. You just hold spin dash and damage boost the whole way through. He's not much of a pushover, so...
Well, I mean, just like Sonic 2, because I believe you Sonic 2 speedrunners can dispatch Silver Sonic quite easily.
Yeah, so this is my favorite song in the game. This is Gigantic Angel. This is a mishmash. So, color-wise, this is Scrap Brain. Level design, this is Metropolis. Song-wise, it's Desert Palace from Sonic 2. Whoops, Sonic 3. So it's just a combination of different levels just all together. That's an unfortunate death. You can get a 33 in this stage. That's kind of the risk on it. that platform can close on you, but if you just jump quick enough, you can avoid that. The unfortunate death there.
Interesting. I think I'll remind people that the aspect ratio might seem a bit odd, but that's just a product of running on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, because it's not a true 4x3. It's more like, would you say it's a square screen? It's sort of a 1x1. Well, it looks like a 1x1.
Kinda, yeah. It's no 4x3, not even close. So if you're just gonna run on a casual 4x3, there's nothing you can do other than deal with the black bars. So Gigantic 2, the level's pretty alright. There's a cool little strat that I'll do later, but this is one of the few fights, levels with a few fights that are very RNG heavy. This is like an ultimate run killer stage for sure. But I think the platforming is really nice. So right there, if you can land on that slope there, you can avoid having to wait out for the platforms and spin dash upwards and take the top path to avoid having to wait for platforms. Take a wait over here, jump over here. Come over here, so, dropped a little there. All right, we're gonna make the jump over here. There's a puzzle piece. So we're gonna approach this fight now. So my hope here is, okay, so to explain the boss a little bit, he can do 3 things. He can dive down, he can shoot a spread shot, and he can drop missiles. The timing that he does a couple of these attacks, which is the speed of this bomb he's gonna drop right now, and when he dives down, is completely random. I have no control on what he does. What he does is completely random, and I just have to do the best option while he's doing it to me. So this is not a favorable set of RNG at all. Normally he's able to, like just like that. So I had to land on the missile, but the spread shot just got me as I was jumping. It is pretty unfortunate RNG. So you don't want him to drop the missiles really slow, because that just slows down the fight. But if he chooses to do that, then that's just how it goes, I guess. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
One thing I've got to say is that the chat has been incredibly sharp with the sort of guessing what the names are for the tracks that they've reused, the music tracks. So well done, chat.
Yeah, you get
claps for
you
you.
guys are good. So here we have our final boss, Last Utopia, and what do you know? This is random too. So he could do 4 things. I would prefer him to. That's actually what I want him to do. So you want him to be on far right as much as possible, which will leave him from going far left. So when you get the kill, which is what I got there, the screen doesn't unlock until Robotnik goes far all the way to the right of the screen. When you get that, hit the last hit, and that is time.
GG.
So he could do 4 things. He can either dash forward, he can grab you, he can spin around, or shoot his arm forward. So the most optimal strat is to have him stay on the right and not move, and just get the kill while he's still on the far right. So he can go off screen much faster, and the fight is much quicker. So I was timing in the background. That was a 1306 IGT, which is, respectable. I made a couple mistakes here and there, and a death in Gigantic 1, but overall, yeah. GG's on that. So Credits is actually one of the few stages, few songs that I'm pretty sure it's original. So they have the ability to make new songs, but they just resorted it to just the credits apparently. But yeah, I love this game a lot, and it takes a lot from other games, but what it is a nice, cute little adventure. If you play the original ones, I'm pretty sure you will like this one too. It's, as far as I know, it has not been re-released because I guess Sega forgot this game existed, which I'm not surprised because no one else knows of it. But it's a cool game, and I think more people should run it. I think the leaderboards for the normal category has 6 people, and 5 of them haven't ran the game in years. So There's not much attention. I would love this game to get more attention. I think it deserves it for what it is. But yeah, it's an awesome game, and I wouldn't recommend it anymore.
One thing I will say is I won't make any promises, but I've been looking into, along with Diamond, who ran the game ages ago, we've been looking into the all puzzle run, like all puzzle pieces, because that could be like quite a funky category. So if you're more of a collectathon person and you like that sort of thing, that category does exist. This also has a best ending run.
Yeah, thanks for your playing. Get more Chaos Emerald. Good grammar. Sorry to cut you off. I want to say that.
That's all right. We've had that. That's the second time we've had a funny, like, a funny grammar moment. Actually, because you collected a few puzzle pieces, do you want to show us the puzzle room so that people can get a taste of what that looks like?
Yeah, sure. So there's an other option here. Go to room. You can see there's a couple options here. Game option, dual trail. So we go to the puzzle room. We can look at the puzzles that we collected. You get a little board here. So, well, I didn't collect these many puzzle pieces, but this is a culmination of the runs I've done. So basically, like, each of these colors, I believe, corresponds to a certain zone. So these blue pieces is Neo South Island, and if you just have enough of these blue pieces, you can just make a funny little picture. It's kind of cool. I don't have all the pieces for a puzzle to finish, but you know how it goes. I'm just looking. Oh, like here's Sonic's face. Let me put it right here. I think that's where it goes. I don't know.
This is the true speedrun challenge. Trying to put all the puzzles together.
Yeah, like Hypnotics was saying, like we were thinking of routing out the all puzzle pieces category. So not only you'd have to collect all the pieces and the zones, you'd also have to go out of your way to make it all together. Like put the puzzle together, which is like another fun little project in and of itself. That's pretty cool.
I could totally see myself spending like maybe, I don't know, like maybe upwards of 30 minutes on the main game and then an extra hour trying to put all the puzzles together, because that's just I can't do very well at those sorts of things. So maybe it will happen.
So there's more stuff to this game too. So we go back a little bit here. Game options.
Also,
here's little things here.
If you go to time trial, just pause on the time trial sort of screen beforehand, because we've seen a cursed sprite earlier on in this game. No, not this game. We saw it in Sonic Blast. But this has, I believe it's in time trial.
Yeah, it is. So so if you go to time trial, you get two options. You can like go to time trial, do your stage, and do another variant of time trial where you have to collect 50 rings as you go. But I think that the devs just made a little mistake. I think if I click time trial. If you look at this sprite over here, where I'm highlighting, you may be seeing something's off here.
It's horrible.
Sonic forgot his pants, and they just didn't bother to make it blue. So he's just rocking it out, no pants or nothing. It's frightening to say the least, but yeah, that's where that is. But yeah, I mean, despite this curse image, time trial's cool. Actually, it's a little more interesting than what it sounds like, because you may have noticed in the run that there was no centiseconds, but this game has them. So I don't know, it tracks your time really well, and it's nice. It's something that the full game run doesn't have. The last thing I can show you is there's a multiplayer component, but I can't exactly show it, but I guess I'll show you how it works. So there is a multiplayer mode that I think it's the same as Sonic 2's multiplayer. So Tails is actually playable in this game. I can't show it, but he's only in multiplayer. But if I click Dual Room here, the game will try to find a linked Neo Geo to another Neo Geo. So if you have two Neo Geos with two Pocket Adventures and a link cable, you can play some two-player Pocket Adventure. How fun is that? Unfortunately, I can't do that. So Sonic's going to be waiting here infinitely. So, and eventually the game's gonna give up and tell me to restart the game entirely. So at that point, that's where I would have to call it there, because you can't get out of this screen after that.
Oh no.
Yeah. Right. And he goes to sleep. Please turn off your system and retry the link.
Bless him.
Good night.
Well, Joey, thank you so much. I love this game, and I know that you love this game, so it was really good that you got to show this off. I was very, very excited when you submitted this, when the show when submissions went live. And anybody, if you have a game that sort of fits under the Going Places umbrella, whether it's a handheld title or a region exclusive, I would love to see it. I believe if you submit through the GDQ Hotfix website, it can make its way over to me. I can make sure that we can have a look at that. But that was Going Places with a Sonic special. I think there are a lot of special Sonic games when it comes to handhelds and region exclusives, so this is certainly not the last one that we are going to be showing off, but this has been a brilliant way of starting it off, and I'd just like to say another thank you to S2, Spectral Platypus, and Joey Baby. Joey, before we head off, where can people find you? Because I believe that you are shooting for the world record in this game at the moment.
So you can find me at twitch.tv/JoeyBaby69. My current PB is at 11:53. I'm only like 5 seconds off from record. But that's been my goal for the past week once I got confirmation that I was part of this hotfix. So I've been on the grind for it. If you're curious of social media related things, you can find me at baby69joey because JoeyBaby69 was taken. I don't know how that happened. So yeah, I'm currently on the grind for this, and I also run other Sonic games as well. I've played Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Mania as well. CD, of course. That's also a really good game. Yeah, just Sonic all around, and I'm looking to push this game down a bit, especially with the lot of attention people are putting into this game now. A lot of eyes are pointing towards getting the all puzzles category in a nice spot. I hope this game has a bright future ahead of it.
I sure hope it does as well. So thank you so much. And everybody, that was the Going Places Sonic special. We will be back in another 2 weeks' time. I don't know what I have in store for you, but hopefully it will be something good fun. I have got a little note somewhere that will tell me what we have got on tomorrow. So if you tune in tomorrow, we have got more hotfixes. Hotfixes never end. I say that and they might end. I don't know. They shouldn't end. So if you tune in tomorrow, we will have PB Precipice at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, a show about live PB attempts, followed by It's Dangerous to Go Alone, which is a co-op show, showing off co-op speedruns. So hotfixes still go on, and yes. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will be back in a couple of weeks' time. I'm going to go around in circles if I don't shut up. So everybody, thank you so much. We will see you very, very soon.